Hi guys, welcome back. I was inspired recently by Diane H with all the really cool glue books that she's been putting out. So this is what I come up with for my version of glue books. I had a collection of these Reader's Digest covers. These are very retro. These were from, I think, the 70s, early 70s. And I decided to turn them into glue books. I'm done hoarding all the beautiful magazines and papers and all that stuff. So I thought these would be a good way to, incorporate glue books and collage books. Now, if you've seen recently, I had turned one of these. I had bought these as a set, and this was the orange one, and I had used the Calico Collage and Linda Israel kit Outrageous Orange on this, and I turned it into a full journal. This is available in my shop now. I had to decide whether I wanted to sell it because I loved it, but it is available in my shop. But I had bought these all as a set. And so I'll show you what I've done with the other colors. So there's this raspberry color. And like the orange one, I have saved all of the original inside papers, except on one of them, which I'll show you. So this one's the raspberry color. So cool. And then there's a blue. It's a neat blue, and I've saved the inside papers there. Some of them, like this one here, I did my best to save the original inside papers. And then we have this beige. It's like a beige gray. It's kind of hard. It's like a cool beige. There's the inside of that one. And then this purple one. It's like a periwinkle. This was the only one I couldn't save. The inside papers, so it is reinforced. They're all reinforced, but this one I just brought the reinforcement over so that you see that. So okay, and every one of these books comes with an ephemera pack, which I will show you at the end. So I'll do flip through here. Here's the beige one. So there's all mix of scrapbook paper, beautiful magazine paper, and all those people who are squeamish about cutting up their favorite magazines, well, I've decided to cut them up. I've been hoarding so much stuff. There's some grid. So there's lots of magazine pages and scrapbook paper, and I've put lots of vintage pieces in here. There's another vintage piece. So there is some blank space. There's a pocket, and I have not sealed up the pockets, so you can decide what you would want to do with them. So these are a very good starter collaging book. So these journals measure, I believe they're 7.5 by 5.5. There's another pocket there. Just lots of like vintage pages, crocheting, double-sided scrapbook, magazine pages. Really gives you great backgrounds to play around with. This is there's a piece from like Flow magazine, paper pack, some line pages, great backgrounds. Look at that, it's cool. So yeah, and there's a flip out piece. I think I might have put like 1 or 2 pieces of coffee dyed paper in here, but it's basically, extra pages I had. Scrapbook paper, and a cute little fox. And this was some music paper printable that I had. So there's that one. I'll just kind of go through quickly just so you can see the collection of papers. Just to give you an idea, this is botanical. There's one coffee dyed. Botanical books that I have. I've hoarded so many, and it's time to, release all that goodness. I've made a few collage books for myself, which I play around in, especially being on a design team. Sometimes I have a little leftover pieces here and there, so I just kind of collage them into a book that I keep just for that. One of these days I should probably show you guys. This is old vintage Atlas book that I had. that I found at a thrift store. But I've tried to make the pages sort of coordinate a little bit with each other so that they, you know, they have the backgrounds kind of match if you were going to do like a full spread of something. So I'm not really calling these necessarily glue books, more like collage diaries, because I mean, there's still space for you to write and make it your own if you want to actually make them into like a journal. Just collage and do some writing. Lots of great little papers. I'm a bit of a paper hoarder, and I thought this was a great idea to sort of get some of these pretty things that I have out there into the world. I'm not going too quickly. And here's the blue one. So I reinforced, this is like a black heavy duty cloth. I didn't want to put anything on the front because, you know, if somebody wants to make it their own. Lots of paper. I won't go through every individual, but you get the gist of how much, you know, these are very eclectic. They're not, there's a little bit of mix of vintage with the eclectic colors. Like even though that's vintage book page, it goes nice with modern magazine pages and colorful scrapbook paper. Oranges and purples and lots of blues. Coloring pages. Music note paper. All right, and then the raspberry. I call it raspberry because I couldn't call it pink. I can't call it red. It's kind of it's pink in the inside, but I don't know. I want to say raspberry. It just sort of worked. I love this paper. That green color. You know, this is a nice size, these Reader's Digest books. They all have basically the same papers in it. One might have one or two more because it had thicker paper in it. So I tried to keep them roughly the same weight and same various amount of goodies in there. I like that paper there. That was a recollections pad that I had. There's some more of the vintage. This is I don't know what that is. Upholstery. Map pages. Colorful backgrounds, lots of colorful backgrounds. These books lay flat. They're just, they're kind of bouncing up a little bit only because they're very freshly made. And I like to leave cracking open something for the person who gets it. So break it in. Okay, so what I've done for the goodies that come with this is I've made ephemera packs. They are filled with, there's no digitals, they're all real pieces. There's vintage tea cards, there's book pages, everything is fussy cut. This is what I do when I can't sleep. I make cut out stuff, make stuff. So, so you'll find vintage botanical pages from the 50s, this book that I had. These are really old pieces, but they make great backgrounds. There's those little tea cards. There's birds and butterflies. Old stamps, tickets, botanical pages, advertisements from the 50s, from old magazines. Now there's one image there that I've stamped out. I put one of these little guest check things. I know they were very popular the last time I showed those off. So there's vintage airmail piece and then a modern one. So there's also like modern magazine pages. There's vintage playing cards and little things like that. So there's over 100 pieces in each one, and every one of these books comes with one of these little kits. So it's just random how how they go, but they're all have the same amount of goodies in it. So there's at least 100. Oh, and there is wallpaper border back here, nice thick. It's this tall wallpaper border that I've included in there. And little die cuts, and like I said, there's a mix of mostly vintage, but there's a mix of modern pieces in there as well. Everything's fussy cut and ready to glue in and decorate however you wish. And yeah, so these, like I said, were inspired by Diane H. But I do know that people like Gail have used them are using them as well, and they do a great job showing off how they've managed to, you know, enjoy just the therapeutic feeling of gluing things down and maybe writing or not writing. It's just however you feel. Anyway, thanks for watching, and these are available in my shop if you're interested. And take care for now, and we'll see you in the next video.